What's up, guys? Well, the weigh-in just ended for Canelo and Danny Jacobs. I have it muted. The interviews just ended. Uh, Before I comment on the weigh-in, let me just go ahead and talk about the fight, my feelings on the fight. I have completely flipped on this fight, and I did it a long time ago. I just hadn't said it online, and not just from what happened today, but I flipped on this fight a while back. Now, my longtime viewers know that I made a video sort of questioning Eddie when he had the chance to make the Canelo Danny Jacobs fight when Triple G was slow signing for the rematch. I came on and said that Eddie should have made the fight, that it was a mistake, uh, that I would favor Danny Jacobs to beat Canelo, because of Danny Jacobs' size, because of Danny Jacobs' punch. Um, I felt that the main objective would be just to get Canelo in the ring. And I estimated that he probably would have made about 5 million in that fight. Now I believe in this fight, I think with that getting that IBF belt, he has doubled his purse. He's getting at least 10 million for this fight. So ultimately, Eddie did the right thing. Uh, you know, Getting Dan Jacobs' IBF title shot, him fighting for that belt, and then getting that title. However, I felt that he lost to Deryevchenko. In my post-fight video, I clearly had Deryevchenko winning that fight. I really didn't think it was close. I thought Dan Jacobs started out real slow in that fight. He was very timid. He was on the outside. I thought Deryevchenko was a general in the ring. He was controlling the fight. All right, so in my opinion, Danny Jacobs did not look good, and he got a gift. All right, now what else happened since then? Canelo fought Triple G again. He beat Triple G, in my opinion, even better than he did in the first fight. He stayed in the pocket with Triple G. He had Triple G backing up, looking like a fish out of water, trying to fight on the back foot. And he beat Triple G, man. He got the rightful decision. I thought he won the fight wider than what the official judges scored the fight. I thought he won it by 1 point better than I had him winning the first fight. All right. So Canelo, clearly in his prime, showed in the first Golovkin fight he could fight off the back foot, stay outside, then go in when he wanted to. In the second fight, primarily stayed in the pocket with this, boogeyman power puncher, Gennady Golovkin, and beat him at his own game, which Golovkin and Sanchez dared Canelo to do, and he did. All right. Now, what happened after that? He fought uh, Rocky Fielding at 168. Now, Rocky Fielding, it's not going to be at the tip of everybody's tongue when it comes to the best fighters in the world, but I respect Rocky Fielding as a world champion. He was an underdog. He went on the road out of his country to win a world title, and I respected him as a world champion. He was the much bigger man than Canelo. The photos were laughable. How Canelo was looking up to Rocky Fielding, you know, and because of the size, and just because of the size and because the odds were huge, I think Rocky Fielding at one point was like a plus 1,000 underdog. It was worth a very, very small play. Just in case Canelo could not handle the size, just in case Rocky Fielding could use his size to his advantage. And we all know what happened. Canelo chopped him down. He proved to be the stronger, bigger puncher, and he lured Rocky Fielding into a firefight. Rocky Fielding, a tough, proud Brit. He was like, you want to fight, let's fight. And he got in the pocket with Canelo, and he paid the price. And even when he was on the outside, Canelo was able to find him, with ease. All right. Now, because of those recent fights and recent events, you know, my pick has completely changed. Not only do I have Canelo winning this fight, I think he's going to knock out Danny Jacobs, man. I think he's going to get stoppage in this fight. And I've played the stoppage. At my casino, a plus 250 for Canelo to win inside the distance. If you play the KO, you can get plus 270. But I played inside the distance. All right. Uh, Canelo, for the longest time was at 154. He moved up to 160, and he has been doing nothing but fighting bigger men, bigger guys. Uh, you know, Chavez Jr. He was weight drained. He did not show up to fight. He didn't have anything in the tank. But even with a guy, that much bigger again, he was landing a jab at will and at ease on Chavez Jr. That wasn't a fight. And then with Triple G, again, bigger man, especially in height, um, beat the guy twice in my opinion. And then he did it again with Rocket Fielding, you know, beat him, stopped him. So to me, not only is Canelo a pound for pound, in my number three pound for pound, if he wins this fight like I think he will, I would put him at number two ahead of Usyk. All right, but not only does he have pound for pound skills, but he seems to thrive and fight well with bigger men, and that's what Danny Jacobs is. Do I see Danny Jacobs being as skilled as Canelo? No. As diverse? No. Hell, pound for pound, Canelo might even be a stronger puncher than Danny Jacobs. And Danny Jacobs has power. But I just think that Canelo is going to be too smart, too slick for him. And, I can see Canelo hurting Danny Jacobs to the body. Who has gone to Danny Jacobs' body throughout his career? I cannot recall many fights people going to the body on Dan Jacobs. I think his body will be tested in ways tomorrow night that it has never been tested before. Um, and of course, we've seen the chin issues. He got knocked out, he got stopped, and Sergio Mora dropped him. And I don't think Sergio Mora is known as a power puncher. All right, and Canelo pound for pound is definitely one of the hardest punchers in the sport, man. No doubt about it. All right, now let's get to this weigh-in. All right, Danny Jacobs, in the build-up to this fight, it seems that he has been kind of underestimating Canelo, a little disrespectful. Him and his coach, like they kind of taking Canelo a little lightly. Are you looking at Canelo like this little short, smaller, white-looking, red-headed Mexican dude? Just kind of thinking that they can easily hit and knock out this guy. Is that what they're thinking? If so, it's a big mistake. And he is hyping himself up. This is the biggest stage of his career. Definitely bigger than the Golovkin fight. And at the weigh-in, he's getting in Canelo's face. He's going head-to-head with Canelo. He's trying to pump Canelo. And Danny Jacobs, in a bit of a rude awakening, which he will get tomorrow night, I believe. He's finding out that Canelo ain't no punk, man. Canelo is not a punk. He is not gonna back down from a fight. This guy, despite what you might think his looks or whatever, I don't know, whatever they may think of Canelo, he is not a punk, man. He is not soft. He's not gonna back down. And Canelo was ready to go at the weigh-in. He was pushing back. He was ready to go. All the nice guy shit has flown out the window, the sportsmanship, and all Danny Jacobs has done is pour fuel on the fire, in my opinion. I mean, he already was a target to get knocked out, but now he is, like I said, putting fuel on the fire, man. I think Canelo's gonna go for it even more, and I'm observing, in my opinion, I think Dan Jacobs, maybe the big stage is getting to him. Not being used to this, while Canelo is very much used to it. He has fought to many Hall of Famers and big name opponents, on the biggest stage in the sport. In front of huge crowds. This is just another walk in the park for him. Meanwhile, Danny Jacobs, he was so kind of shaken in the interview with Akmal Rock. You know, he was cussing, you know, with his son right there. Then after he interviewed with the Zone, a guy from ESPN wanted to talk to him, and he just blew ESPN off. Just blew ESPN off. Now, we're not talking about some rinky-dink shit. This wasn't some little small YouTube channel that he was blowing off. This was ESPN. He was so mad and hyped up and angry and in his feelings. No, I don't want to talk right now. No, I'm not going to interview. He stormed off the stage, you know. Meanwhile, they go to Canelo. After Canelo was all hyped and ready to fight, he was so calm. He had put his clothes back on. He was taking selfies with Mario Lopez. He had a nice, calm interview with the Zone. You know, he was having laughs and smiles, you know, with the interview in the crowd. You know, he calmed down very quickly, man. Very much ready for the situation, ready for the spotlight, ready for the moment. While Danny Jacobs was so frazzled, you know. And I was watching interviews last night, you know, what he was talking about, like how before some of these fights he gets so nervous where his coach got to slap him to get him all hyped up and ready, get him out of that nervous stage, you know. How you think he gonna feel tomorrow night on the biggest stage of his career? He gonna have to get slapped. And if he goes out there thinking that he can, you know, do what he did to Peter Quillen, that was one of the fights where he got nervous in. If he goes, you know, trying to headhunt and knock out Canelo, going to the pocket with Canelo, he gonna get caught and he'll get hurt, man. You know, Canelo loves to go mano a mano. You know, these guys were commenting talking about they think that, you know, if it goes mano a mano that Danny Jacobs got the advantage. I don't think so, man. With them longer arms and Canelo being the smaller, more elusive man, I don't think so. You know, if he goes into that pocket with Canelo, man, I think Danny Jacobs gonna get caught. He gonna get hurt, man. Whether it be to the body or to the chin, you know. So you know, when you think about the skill level, when you think about the big stage, you know, who's gonna be able to handle the moment? You know, I can understand why Canelo on the money line is, you know, become a bigger favorite as he has. And hey, I'm glad I'm getting more than even money on knockout plus 250. You know, the perfect odds. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. You know, a great number. You know, so you know, I think that's it, guys. But I'm ready for this fight. This weigh-in has helped give me hype for the fight. I really hadn't been feeling the buzz, but as the week is going on, this weigh-in, I'm into it now, and you know, I think Dan Jacobs is definitely gonna lose, and in my opinion, I think he's gonna get knocked out, man. You know, I just from the skill level, the moment, you know, chin issues, you know, how he's gonna handle Canelo going to his body, how he's gonna react to that. You know, if you're thinking he can just steamroll Canelo's a punk, man. You know, he's going to find out brutally that that's not the case. I think he tried that shit at the weigh-in, trying to get in Canelo's head and, you know, make him back down. He's so hyped and frazzled. And Canelo not budging, wanting to go forward, and then calm down very well afterwards, while Dan Jacobs was still frazzled. Hell, he might still be frazzled as I'm doing this video. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Enjoy the fights tomorrow night, and I will check in with you guys soon. Thanks for watching.